The ugly part of wholesaling, the parts that nobody's talking about. I'll see you in just a second. Before I break down the ugly side of wholesaling, I want you guys to go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you never miss an episode. And for those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Sean Young, the virtual guy, and I love all things real estate. Not every deal closes, guys. What? Not every deal closes? Unbelievable, right? Well, at least that's what some people have you believe. But in actuality, a lot of deals don't make it to the finish line for a number of reasons. And on this video, I'm going to dive into a few of those so that you can prepare yourself for what may be to come, just like I did as well. All right, before we get too deep into that, the first thing that you guys gotta do when you get into this business is get your mind right. You gotta have the right mindset. I know you're gonna hear this all the time, and you're gonna hear a lot of people saying it, and that's because it's super duper important. Even the first chapter of my book discusses mindset and why it's so important to have your why, because your why is your reason why you're doing this business. It's what gets you up in the morning. It's what keeps you up late when everyone else is going to sleep. So make sure that you have your mindset and your why always at the forefront of your mind. And guys, don't take that for granted. I know a lot of people may skip over that or think that, hey, I got my mind right, it's good enough. But if you're not receiving or achieving the type of success that you want to have in your life right now, then you might want to check your mindset. So guys, it doesn't hurt to focus on that mindset on a consistent basis. You want to surround yourself with other like-minded people that are in the industry as well. Other positive people who are going out there, failing their way forward, taking massive imperfect action, trying to make it happen any way they can, but they're doing it with a positive mindset. Another important aspect of having a positive mindset is not just a wishful thinking mindset, but it's an expectational mindset. It's having the right expectation of what this industry actually entails and how much work it actually takes for you to be successful. I find that that's where most people fall off at or have the biggest disconnect, is that they really didn't prepare themselves for the amount of work that it would take to actually find success with wholesaling real estate. Another thing when it comes to mindset, guys, is you have to eliminate all doubt. You have to have 100% confidence in yourself and in your ability to help people out. Remember, guys, you're not going out here trying to be a super salesman. You're out here trying to be a super problem solver, because that's all we're doing is solving people's problems. And the sooner that you realize that, the more money that you'll start making sooner in your career. With our industry, guys, there's usually about a 90-day runway that I say that people give themselves to do the business. And that's usually a 90-day runway to try to get their first deal. And that can be practical, but sometimes it could be unrealistic for a number of reasons. And guys, for some that might work, and for others that might be a complete disaster. And why do I say that? Because you might be watching YouTube University and you see some guy or some lady out there that gets their first deal in their first 2 days of trying to do wholesaling. Then you start measuring yourself against that person saying, golly, like, what's wrong with me? Am I just stupid? Or maybe this business just isn't for me. You start questioning yourself. You start asking yourself a number of different trivial things that really make no sense. It's just you being inside of your head. So you gotta get out of your head. You can't compare your journey or yourself to others. Definitely use others' successes for inspiration, but not for comparison. Another huge factor that you have to consider when getting started with real estate is that people around you might not understand what you're doing. They might not promote you, or they might not give you confidence, or they might not give you the type of support that you feel that you need to get it done. But guys, you're gonna have to get it done in spite of anyone around you that doesn't understand or see your vision. And I can promise you this, once you get that first check, the check that we like to call the shut up check, I promise you, everyone who's doubting will shut up. Now that we got that out of the way, the next part of the ugly side of wholesaling would involve finding a market and how hard some people think that is to do. Well guys, it's not that hard at all. I'm gonna give you some tips in just a second. First, you wanna choose a market where the median price range is around 200 to 300,000. Next, you want to choose a city that has a population of at least 150 to 300,000 people. And make sure that it's a city where deals are actually going on already. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to go to a far off, obscure city where there's no activity happening as far as real estate transactions, closes being taken place, and try to reinvent a whole new market wherever that may be. Find markets where deals are actually happening right now and go to those markets. And a great technique to find that is go maybe 20 to 50 or 60 miles outside of a major city and look for those smaller cities that meet those criteria. And what you'll find is that there'll be a whole lot of people out there that are going to need your help. And an example of this would be Lakeland, Florida, a city that has a population of right under 200,000, and it's located right in between Orlando, Florida and Tampa, Florida, which are two major cities out in Florida. So there you go. The criteria of being close to a major city is being met, the population size is being met, and the median home prices are also being met as well. And remember, don't forget, make sure there's actually activity going on in that city before you choose a market. You don't want to go to a city, get a deal under contract, and find that you can't sell it. It's nothing worse than that happening to you. All right, guys, another part of the wholesaling business that people don't like to talk about, that's kind of not so fancy and so cool, I guess, to talk about, is how many calls you actually have to make to get leads and to get leads turning into deals. Well, guys, if you remember on a previous video, I said it's going to take you at least 1,000 calls to get one lead. And it's going to take you about 50 leads to get one deal. Well, guys, those numbers are just average numbers. It might take you 2,000 calls to get one lead. But are you going to give up after that 1,010th call? No, you can't give up, guys. You got to keep going. You got to stay consistent. You got to think to yourself, if I give up, how many other people are giving up at this same place that I am right now? So think about that, guys, and keep pushing beyond your current belief systems, beyond what you feel your current limits are, so that you can break on through to the other side. When making those phone calls, prepare yourself to have thick skin. Prepare yourself to have a lot of rejection, and prepare yourself to never take it personal. Remember, guys, you're reaching out to people that might be in a bad predicament. They might be in a position right now where they're owing the state or the county back taxes, or they're just in a position that is not pleasant to be in. And you're reaching out to them, asking them about buying their home. So keep that in mind, guys. Never take it personal. And remember, guys, be professional. Just because somebody curses you out doesn't mean you have to take it personal and return fire with fire. Not in this business. Stay being the professional that I know that each and every one of you are. And lastly, guys, a big, huge piece of our industry that a lot of people don't like to talk about, because all you really see on YouTube University or online is people cashing big checks or people showing big checks. Well, guys, there's way more to our industry and way more to the business than just cashing big checks. A major factor that not a lot of people speak about is having to back out of a deal, or a deal just not making sense for you for whatever reason and you not being able to get it over that finish line. So what are some of the reasons that will prevent a deal from closing? Well, let's say during the inspection period, you discover that there's a huge foundational issue, or there's mold, or there's some other issues that just weren't divulged in your initial negotiating with that seller. Mr. Seller, Mr. Seller, I know that when we initially spoke and negotiated, we established a price of $50,000. But upon inspection, when I sent my guys in there, we discovered there was a huge foundational issue and a lot of mold that we've got to get taken care of. So are you willing to come down on that price? It's as simple as that, guys. You have to be willing to have these conversations. But what will happen a lot of times for a lot of newbies is that they'll run into a situation like this where they find out that there is a huge mold issue or termites or foundational issue, or the house is in a flood zone, or whatever it is that they didn't know. And then they'll give up at that point. They'll say, oh, there it is. I knew it. I knew this was a bunch of BS. I knew I couldn't do this. I knew I was gonna run into a roadblock. All right, well, if you knew all those things, well, don't be surprised that that's exactly what happened. Remember what I said at the beginning of this video. You gotta have the proper mindset when you're going into this business. You gotta be thinking proactively. You gotta be thinking positively, but you have to make sure that you're dealing with actual reality. Now, let's say for whatever reason, you didn't discover any of these issues until after your inspection period. First thing I want to say is shame on you. You got to make sure that when you have that inspection period that you're doing your due diligence. And if you haven't done your due diligence and you discover an issue after the inspection period, well, then just be prepared to lose your earnest money deposit. And usually for us as a company, our earnest money deposits are between $10 and $100. Different situations will cause for different earnest money deposits. So keep that in mind as well. So guys, don't get caught up out there believing all the hype, thinking that every deal is going to be a home run and every deal is going to make you $50,000 or $100,000. That's just not the case. Remember guys, it takes an enormous amount of energy to get something that was once dormant in motion. So guys, you got to put in the consistent energy and effort on a daily basis. And if you're just getting started guys, partner up with somebody else that's in your similar market that's already been doing this for a while. And how do you find that? Go out there and join Facebook groups, put ads on Craigslist, post signs out in the local market saying that you're a cash buyer or that you have properties under contract, and people will come to you. You got to get active. You have to network. You have to be creative and take this serious guys. This is a true business. This isn't a get rich overnight type of scheme. This is a true business where you can build true wealth and find true financial freedom for yourself and your family. So if you got any value out of today's video guys, go ahead and smash that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithms push this video out there to others that might need help just like you. And if you're looking for a coach that's going to be dedicated to your success, build a business for you, and show you how to run it, then head on over to SeanYoungCoaches.com, schedule a call with me and my team today to see if we'd be a good fit. Looking forward to speaking with each and every one of you. So that's it guys. Let's get out there and make it happen. Continue to fail your way forward. Take massive imperfect action. And remember guys, help me, help you, help us all. I'll see you on the other side.
This crown on my head, I'm seated on the throne. The top is so alone. Only thing that keeps me going is I know my city love me. I know